लिख लीजिए, डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट एंड अनडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट हमारा टॉपिक है। व्हाट इज डिफरेंस बिटवीन डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट एंड अनडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट। ये दो जो प्रॉफिट है ये बेसिकली प्रॉफिट से निकल आए हैं। These two profits has been extracted from the word profit. What is profit? First, we must know what is profit. Then we will be able to understand distributed profit and undistributed profit. Profit is the reward of the price of the entrepreneur. When an entrepreneur establishes a factory or a plant or a producing unit, when he produce or when she produce goods and services, when he or she sells in the market, after receiving the revenue, he or she distributes it among landlords, laborers, capitalists in the form of rent, wages, interest, profit. So after paying all types of costs, whatever remains, that is profit. अगर कोई चीज वो 50 रुपये में बेचता है, if an entrepreneur sells a product for 50 rupees and he pays 40 rupees as factor prices, as rent, wages, interest, whatever remains, that becomes profit. So profit is simply the difference between total revenue and total cost. So profit is TR minus TC, that is total revenue minus total cost. This profit can be negative or it can be positive. Sometimes it can be positive and sometimes it can be negative. When an entrepreneur incurs losses, that is the situation of negative profit. So when total revenue is more than total cost, profit is positive. And if total revenue is less than total cost, that is profit becomes negative. This profit we divide into two parts. We divide it into two parts: distributed profit and undistributed profit. Distributed profit and undistributed profit. Now the question is, what is distributed profit and what is undistributed profit? Simply अभी हम ये डिस्कस करेंगे कि डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट क्या होता है, अनडिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड प्रॉफिट क्या होता है. But before discussing distributed profit and undistributed profit, if there is a situation that we have a factory, it is owned by A. A is the sole owner of this factory, sole entrepreneur of the factory. There is nobody as shareholder or partner. A has no partner at all. He is wholly and solely master and owner of the factory. At that time, all profit becomes distributed profit. So whole profit, we use the word profit. No distributed and undistributed profit. Whole profit becomes distributed. When he takes the profit, that becomes distributed. That at that time, profit is equal to distributed profit. So the question of undistributed profit arises when, for example, there is a factory. There are more than two or more than one partner, more than two or more than two partners. If there are A, B, C, D, etc., there are so many partners. At that time, they distribute some part of profit and keep some part of profit as undistributed. That becomes the undistributed profit. That is called undistributed profit. Now you write down a distributed profit क्या होता है. Profit तो हो गया. Now we take the distributed profit. So distributed profit and undistributed profit are the words or the questions which arise when there are so many partners to a factory or a firm. We write down first distributed profit. Distributed profit. और हम इसको कहते हैं dividend. We call it also dividend. So it is also called dividend. It is also called dividend. It is that part of profit It is that part of profit in a shareholders company. Shareholders company means that company which has so many shareholders, which has so many partners. In a shareholders company, that part of profit which is distributed among shareholders of a company. Shareholders of a company. So that part of profit, हम इतना भी लिख सकते हैं, that part of profit which is distributed among shareholders of a company. It is that part of profit which is distributed among the shareholders of a company or a firm. Okay. So it is also called a distributed profit or dividend. Dividend or distributed profit. So for example, if there are A, B, and C partners of a company, they distribute the profit of rupees, for example, 150 among the three as rupees 50 each. This rupees 50 is distributed. This 150, this rupees 150 is distributed profit, or rupees 50 is dividend of each. Rupees 50 is dividend of each. अगर दो या दो से ज्यादा पार्टनर्स एक कंपनी में है, एक फर्म में है, तो जितना प्रॉफिट वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते हैं उसको कहते हैं हम distributed profit. For example, if the profit of a company is, for example, हम ऐसी मिसाल दे देंगे, if the profit of a company is 1000 rupees, 1000 rupees, there are three partners. We can say there are three partners. The company A, B, and C. These are three partners. The total profit of the company is 1000 rupees. And these three partners decide that let us divide this 100 rupees into two parts. Let us divide this 100 rupees into two parts, 600 rupees and 400 rupees. This 600 rupees we will divide among A, B, and C. Among A, B, and C. This A, B, and C will get 200 rupees each. 200 rupees each. These three will get 200 rupees each. The 600 becomes distributed profit, and they decide that let this 400 rupees be kept in the company again for further profit, for further investment, to create more assets in the company. So this 600 is distributed profit, and this 400 is undistributed profit. Undistributed profit, that profit which is not distributed among the shareholders of the company. This 400 rupees, 600 they have distributed, and this 400 rupees they have kept in the company again. For example, this is company, and they put this 400 rupees again in the company for further investment. So they have decided to distribute only 600 rupees, which becomes the 600. This becomes the distributed profit or dividend. So dividend or distributed profit is that part of profit which is distributed among the shareholders of the company. Shareholders of the company. So when they have decided to distribute this much of profit, they receive, for example, we have taken the example of a company in which there are 3 partners, and the company partners of a company, they distribute the profit of rupees 150 among the 3, and they get 50 rupees each as dividend. So everybody's dividend is 50 rupees. Also, the tax imposed by government, जो डिविडेंड पे टैक्स लगता है इसको कहते हैं पर्सनल इनकम टैक्स. अब हर एक के डिविडेंड पे टैक्स लगेगा. अब गवर्नमेंट अगर उन पे टैक्स लगाएगा, गवर्नमेंट विल इम्पोज टैक्स ऑन एवरीबडीज डिविडेंड. सो ए ने भी 50 कमाए, A get 50 rupees, B get 50 rupees, C get 50 rupees. If government impose tax on A is 50 rupees, on B is 50 rupees, and on C is 50 rupees, it is called personal income tax. So tax imposed by government on dividend, on dividend of a shareholder, or a partner, it is called income tax or personal income tax. इसको कहते हैं हम personal income tax. ये इनका personal income बन गया. The tax imposed on this income is personal income tax. So ये याद रखना. The tax imposed on the dividend of each shareholder is called personal income tax. अब रह गया हमारा undistributed profit. Undistributed profit. Undistributed profit. What is it? It is that part of profit which is not distributed among shareholders of a company. It is that part of profit which is not distributed among the shareholders of a company. It is not distributed among the shareholders of a company, but retained in the business. ये बिजनेस में ही रहता है, ये अलग बिजनेस से अलग नहीं किया जाता है ये प्रॉफिट का पार्ट, but retained in the business by the shareholders, for further investment and development. So it is also called retained earnings of a firm. It is also called, इसको हम दूसरा नाम देते हैं retained earnings of a firm. It is also called retained earnings of a firm, or so it is that part of profit which is retained by the firm for future use, particularly to meet, sometimes it is used to meet contingent expenses, emergency expenses. It is also called corporate savings. इसका दूसरा नाम भी है, तीसरा नाम. It is also called corporate savings. So that simply हम कहेंगे briefly, it is that part of profit which is not distributed among the shareholders of a company, but it is retained in the business. It is kept in the business. Retained is kept in the business by the shareholders to earn more profit in future. or for further development of the business or to further investment in the business. Why it is kept? They aim to invest this money also for future earnings, for increase their profit in the future. That is why it is called also called retained earnings of a firm. It is also called retained earnings of a firm, or it is also called corporate savings. It is also called corporate savings. So that part of profit which is not distributed by the shareholders but retained by the firm for future use. It is that part of profit which is kept or retained by the firm for future use, especially or particularly to meet emergency expenses. Sometimes it is used for emergency, particularly it is kept to meet the emergency expenses. So that is why it is also called corporate savings or undistributed profit. Now, इसमें से निकल आता है corporate tax. Now you write down what is corporate tax. What is corporate tax? The tax imposed by the government. By the government. The tax imposed by the government on undistributed profit. On undistributed profit. The tax imposed by the government on undistributed profit of a firm or corporate savings. So the tax imposed by the government on corporate savings is called corporate tax. Is called a corporate tax. So government इस profit को भी नहीं छोड़ता है. They see, they observe how much firm has retained in the firm, how much shareholders have retained the part of the profit in the firm. The government impose tax upon it. If अभी मैंने आपको बता दिया, if profit is rupees 1000, it is distributed as distributed profit is 600 rupees and 400 rupees is undistributed profit. The tax imposed on distributed profit is income tax, and the tax imposed on undistributed profit, it is called corporate tax. इस पे भी tax लगता है. So tax imposed on corporate savings is called a corporate tax. So this is all about the distributed profit and undistributed profit. So the question of distributed profit and undistributed profit, or the question of division of profit among two categories, distributed and undistributed profit, arise when a company or a corporation is owned by two or more than two partners. When there are so many partners to a firm. When there is only one partner, there is no question of distributed and undistributed profit. But when there are so many partners of a firm, they, after completion of the year, they distribute their profit into two parts, distributed profit, and they divide their profit, total profit, in two parts, distributed profit and undistributed profit. The distributed profit is that part of profit which is distributed among the shareholders of the company, and the undistributed profit is that part of profit which is retained in the firm, or which is not distributed among the shareholders of the firm, but it is kept or retained in the firm for future development and future use, or for future investment, or to use this part of profit for emergency and contingent expenses. So that is why it is sometimes called corporate savings. So the tax imposed on undistributed profit is called corporate tax. जो tax corporate savings या undistributed profit पे लगता है उसको कहते हैं corporate tax. Thank you very much. This is all about this distributed profit and undistributed profit. अब हमारे कुछ और टर्म्स हैं, कल हम स्टार्ट करेंगे मेजरमेंट ऑफ नेशनल इनकम. methods of measuring national income. Thank you very much. कोई क्वेश्चन मत है? हेलो